Welcome back, everyone. Look at the move on APHA stock. It's down exactly 14% today, and after a huge Q3 earnings miss. And we're going to talk about whether or not you should buy the dip. So, if we're looking at the 6 month trend on this chart, it's still up by over 100%, but it is more than half its 52-week high. So, it was 52-week high was close to $41. Right now, it's trading at $17.51. So, if you don't know, APHA is an MJ producer. It has medical brands and it also has adult use brands. This past quarter was also the full quarter where they introduced their Sweetwater Brewing, which is an alcoholic beverage combined with, of course, MJ. And I mean, of course, this did not impress investors having such a huge loss. It was even worse than last year's quarter. And again, we're going to take a look at this. Not only did APHA stock tank, but also Tilray stock also tanked. And since it's like, if you're looking at the 5 years, it was over $150 and it's down like 86% since then. And the reason why Tilray is also down is because Tilray and APHA are merging. Okay, and so whatever impacts APHA stock also drives the price of Tilray stock, and it's down 13% today, and it was like around $29. Its 52-week high was $67, and now it's down more than, of course, 50% since then. Okay, so let's talk about their earnings, and again, their stock declined by quite a bit. So APHA's Q3 net revenue was at 153.6 million and was far below consensus analyst estimates for 161 million. The company's net loss was $1.14, which was worse than the market's estimate of a loss of 5 cents per share, which is huge miss there. So the company misses on both revenue and earnings rendered its recently raging stock more malleable as investors adjusted and repriced the company's shares. So APHA's experienced painful sales decline in key markets due to resurgent cases and lockdowns. Its distribution revenues from Europe were down 5% sequentially to 87 million as Germany tightened the virus pandemic mobility restrictions yet again. So net revenue from Canadian recreational sales was hit the most at a gross sales decline of 17.3% quarter on quarter. Net cannabis sales at 51.7 million were nearly 8% lower than comparable revenue last year after a 23.8 sequential decline. Investors would have expected APHA to report growing sales as this was their first full quarter of Sweetwater, which is the US craft brewer acquired in 2020. And of course, they're trying to expand in the market. And of course, with their combination with Tilray, that's going to make them the biggest MJ producer in Canada, and I think even in the world so far. And Canada is where MJ is fully legalized on a federal level, and of course, the US is following suit. So that's why there's been such a hype up in major MJ stocks, is because of this increased legalization across the states in US, and of course, fully federal legalization in Canada. Although the company still reported its 8th consecutive quarter of positive adjusted EBITDA, which is earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization, its adjusted EBITDA from cannabis operations declined by 38.8%. So again, that's a huge miss. And I mean, it makes sense that their stock is down by quite a bit. And in general, the MJ sector is going for more of like a consolidation phase. And I think that's pretty healthy, to be honest. And let's see what this article is recommending if we're supposed to buy the dip here. So cannabis stocks are in extended consolidation right now, and their earnings miss just amplified the trend. The legalization trade is losing momentum, and earlier speculative gains are being wiped off. So of course, you must have a lot of care when initiating a position right now. And the market will wait and see how APHA Chairman CEO and CEO Irwin, which is of course APHA CEO, plus Tilray, how they're going to do going forward. With, of course, the pandemic headwinds may have slowed down growth progress. The setback may be temporary for the well-financed firm. Okay, and I think that's true, especially since if you're looking at the summer season, of course, a lot of people are going to increase, I think, their recreational use of the drug. And again, I think that this is a growing trend. So I think if you're looking at getting into the market, now might be the time to maybe snag a few shares of APHA stock, okay? I mean, a 14% move downward is pretty drastic, and we'll look at the technicals in a bit, but first, again, I just want to go over some key numbers. So, of course, we can see their net loss here. I'll zoom in. For this past quarter was $360 million as compared to a year ago was a net profit of $5.7 million. Okay, and that's compared to the full 9 months ending February 28th. They lost $486 million, almost half $1 trillion, compared to a net gain of $14.2 million, okay, in a year ago. So again, that is kind of concerning, and they're blaming the increased lockdowns in the pandemic, especially in Canada. For example, right now, Ontario is in a full lockdown for these decreasing sales. And investors, of course, did not like that, and the stock went down. So again, let's look to, of course, some technicals. So their market cap right now is $5.5 billion as they're expanding into the States. Right now I can see sort of like a head and shoulders pattern. This is the first shoulder, this is the head, this is the second shoulders, and now again going down. So we can see here kind of a bit of a consolidation phase as was stated in the article. And we can see the relative strength index sitting at a 34, which is nearing oversold territory. I'm going to wait at least like 3 or 4 days. There's a so-called 3-day waiting rule. So where you don't buy a stock when it's falling like crazy. It's termed like trying to catch a falling knife. If you buy now, but then it dips another, 10, 15%, you're sitting at a 10, 15% loss, which is of course not what we want. And you have to be very careful. And of course the MACD just going down into negative territory right now, which is of course a bearish signal. So I would wait maybe a week or two before buying into this stock, and we'll see what happens. Thank you so much for checking out the video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to smash the thumbs up button, leave a comment down below, and also subscribe if you haven't already. As well as feel free to check out a couple of links down below in the description. One is to my free Discord group. It's growing. It has about like 30 members, as well as a private group where I announce my buys and sells in real time. So for example, on March 30th, I bought Schrodinger stock, which was $68.55. And then literally a week later, I sold it for $80.02. So in a week, I gained 17% in that stock. The next stock was Kirkland Lake, for example. And right now, Kirkland Lake is trading at $46. And again, we can see my buy price was $40.65. So again, in a week and a half, it gained 14%. So let me know if that's something that you'd be interested in. And finally, if you're Canadian and you want a zero commission trading app, I highly recommend Wealthsimple. And if you sign up down with the link below, you'll get $10 towards your next trade. Okay, but as well, there's a free Discord group where one guy actually announced a penny stock called Fire, and it actually went up by 50% before he even announced it, okay? Where the cost was around, I think, 26 cents, and then it went up all the way to over 50 cents, okay? So definitely be sure to check that out. Again, take care. Thank you so much. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next.